Namaste. Yes, please come. Be seated. Yeah. We are in the process of learning and knowing the Indian dance outside India, how it is gone, how it is taught, how it is extended and expanded. So, today we will study the Indian classical dance in Russia. You know very well that India has always enjoyed a very close relationship with former United States of Soviet Russia, and much of India's post colonial history has been of pro USSR choices. Particularly, Indian culture has always enjoyed a high degree of respectability in the now Russia and CIS states. Bollywood first made its mark in 1949 there. Few can forget the cult status of Raj Kapoor's film Avara in Russia. Even now, Bollywood is a huge draw, but equally interesting is how Indian classical dances have made a special place for themselves in this region. In January 2014, which is so recent, the Kochi edition of the Indian Express carried an article of Lakshmi, a 14-year-old Indian classical dancer. There is nothing new or unusual about a dancer being in the paper, even though the age seems young. The most unusual thing about young Lakshmi, who is an Indian, is the fact that she has been trained in Russia. The daughter of a Moscow based businessman, she started learning dance at the age of 6 from Russian teachers who had their training from reputed Indian dance schools like Kalakshetra or Kuchipudi Arts Academy. The teachers follow the traditional Indian system of training and they are very proficient. But while young Lakshmi finds no difference between them and the teachers she comes and learns with in India, there is a difference in focus in as much as in Russia, the pure technique is privileged, while in India, the teachers give more importance to Abhinaya. What it means is they have more emphasis on Nritya than on Abhinaya. There are a lot of Russian students who take Indian classical dance lessons in the Bharatanatyam, Kathak, Kuchipudi. For Russia is a place where all cultures and art forms are respected and welcomed. Indian dances are extensively promoted there, and one could easily find teachers for all dance forms except possibly Kathakali and Mohiniyattam. Lakshmi's first guru was Natalia Obolenskaya, who trained her in Bharatanatyam. She is also learning Kuchipudi from Irina Strehavenko, while Ekaterina Sharma and Guru Raghav Rai Bhatt give her lessons in Kathak. The Jawaharlal Center for Culture, JNCC in Moscow, is the big hub for Indian cultural activities, including dance lessons and performances. Indian art on the whole is very popular, for Moscow is a city drenched in culture. Here, Raghav Raj Bhatt was the dancer teacher till recently. It is a pleasure to see the interest and commitment of Russian girls to Indian dance, said Bhatt, who teaches Kathak to nearly 65 students, some of whom have been learning the art form for nearly 15 years. They adopt all the Indian traditions. For instance, the Russian girls would touch the feet of Guru Raghav Raj Bhatt before spinning out the tals and mudras of Kathak. During his stay in Russia, Bhatt created the dance composition Sanskriti Sagar, where he combined four Indian classical dance forms such as Kathak, Bharatanatyam, Kuchipudi, and Odissi, drawing on all the locally available Indian classical dance talent. This composition was performed by 20 Russian dancers with such stunning grace and energy that the show traveled to 8 different cities in Russia. He also created Inspire, where his talented students performed a fusion Indian dance to the classical rhythms of Russian composer Ludwig Minsky. La Bayadere Ballet. In its ballet stances were juxtaposed with Kathak poses, arresting freezes with flowing movements made for scintillating east-west dance encounter. There is such a demand for Indian dance in Russia that the JNCC has now started classes for other Indian dance forms as well. Odissi, Kuchipudi are also taught other than Kathak and Bharatanatyam. These classes are taught by Russian teachers. These Russian teachers trained in the top dance schools in India, such as Kalakshetra. At JNCC Moscow, they teach about 100 students at the center alone. The center celebrates not just Festival of India, but also festivals built around iconic figures like Nobel laureate Rabindranath Tagore, whose 150th anniversary was celebrated recently. Actually, ICCR scholarships for foreign students for learning dance and music and other aspects of Indian culture have been a source of great encouragement and motivation. They have been very well received by Russian Indophiles. The center gave as many as 26 scholarships in a year to talented Russian music and dance students who wish to continue studying in India. These also include scholarships for Hindi and yoga, which are also taught at the center. Some of the most important dance teachers of Indian can boast of more than one Russian dance student. When in India, they study and learn with diligence, sincerity, and enthusiasm and gain proficiency very fast. That is the reasons why these dance forms were able to find local dance teachers. Possibly because of the darkness of the communist reality that failed when the USSR broke, Hinduism has found a welcoming environment in Russia. Hinduism spread in Russia primarily due to the work of missionaries from the Vaishnav Hindu organization, International Society for Krishna Consciousness, and also to some extent by itinerant Swamis from India and the small communities of Indian immigrants. There is even an active Tantra Sangha operating in Russia. According to a 2010 religious census, there are 140,000 Hindus in Russia. Brahma Kumaris have 20 centers in Russia. Ramakrishna Mission has one center. Ananda Marga has a center in Barnaul and Tantra Sangha has one registered branch in Moscow and another Krishna temple in Nizhny Novgorod, which was officially recognized in 1993. It was at this temple at Nizhny Novgorod that there was a recital of Indian classical dance Kathak by Anya Kovaleva, disciple and follower of Guru Raghav Bhatt and Guru Mangala Bhatt, disciples of Birju Maharaj. The association between the Russian artistic world and the Indian artistic world dates back to 1950s when senior Kathak dancer Maya Rao became the first Indian lady to be selected by the Government of India for the USSR Cultural Scholarship in Choreography. The intention of the Government of India had been to build cultural ties with the Government of Russia, and this had been a project that the then Indian ambassador in USSR KPS Menon had initiated. Maya Rao's potential had been noticed by Keshav Kothari and Nirmala Joshi, and she was selected by a board that comprised of Kapila Vasen, Narayan Menon, and then a young Manipuri dancer, Guru Singhjit Singh. In 1960, she and the other selected dancers, Shiva Shankar, left for the USSR to study for a master's degree in choreography. In those days, Moscow was the cultural capital of Eastern Europe. Since the training was not conducted in English, Maya had to devote 6 months in training period in learning Russian. Every day 2 hours was allotted to Russian language class and 2 hours for ballet dance training. They were made to learn the basic of ballet dance before first starting on choreography. During her training period in Russia, the theatre of Riga, which is a Latvian republic, invited Maya as a consultant choreographer at the behest of Sergei Balasanyan, a composer who was creating a work on Shakuntala. She assisted him for 6 months, which turned out to be great learning experience for her. However, after 3 years, she returned to India in January 64, but having stayed in Moscow for 3 years, she had developed close friendships and in 69 she went to Moscow again as an honored guest for the international ballet competition, which was attended by Rukmini Devi Arundel as well. For many Russians, their first tries with Indian dance often happens through Indian films. Even Dmitry Zmayev, one of the Bharatanatyam pioneers in Russia and an inventor of an innovative approach of staging dance performances, a fascinating melange of Russian music and Indian choreography, had his first tryst with Indian dance through Indian cinema. The film Sita or Geeta. He couldn't keep his eyes off Hema Malini and her masterful dance movements. It was through Hindi films that he fell in love with Bharatanatyam, although at that time it was difficult for him to tell one dance style from another. Besides, there existed a stereotype in Russia that Indian dance are only performed by women. But on seeing Kamala Hassan perform, he was no longer hesitant and embraced what he believes is his vocation in life. Miyayev took up Bharatanatyam with tremendous passion, enrolling at the Gandharva Mahavidyalaya in Delhi in 1990. During his students' years, Miyayev was actively involved in various cultural programs of the Russian Embassy in India and several documentary films made about him by Russian and Indian television channels. In April 1996, he also enrolled at the Triveni Kala Sangam Institute and Theatre while still continuing his studies at the Gandharva Mahavidyalaya, where he had continued his studies under the guidance of Srimati Jayalakshmi Ishwar, a well-known Bharatanatyam performer and exponent of Kalakshetra style. Under her tutelage, Miyayev also learned the art of playing talam, a percussion instrument talam, and accompaniment on Natwangam. In October 1998, he had graduated with honors from the Gandharva Mahavidyalaya with the Bachelor's of Arts degree. Since his return to Moscow, the dancer has been performing and giving master classes both in Russian and abroad. He is also often invited as jury member, special guest or presenter for various dance festivals. In 1999, he founded a school of Indian classical dance, Natya Rekha. He has successfully combined his passion for Bharatanatyam with acting and directing. He claims that his dancing skills help him develop as an actor because of the complex dramaturgy of the dance itself. As an experienced teacher, Miyayev says it is not very easy for Russian to study Bharatanatyam. A body of a European is naturally not fit for the basic Bharatanatyam position. I, for one, had to study this particular element for a whole year. Our knees are bent inwards, and the Indians can easily turn their knees outwards because it's a natural movement for them. In India, people sit on the floor, kids sit on their mother's lap so they can bend their knees flexibly. The Russian demeanor is another stumbling block when it comes to learning the Indian classical dance. Our people are a little reserved. They feel uncomfortable showing their feelings to the audience. Smeryev says, but Bharatanatyam as a classical dance style is more than just physical movements. It is also a theatrical performance. So bonding with the audience makes viewers part of the action is absolutely essential. The Russian teachers has invented a technique to help his students better understand the plot of the dance. He stages Indian dances to Russian music, believing that intertwining Indian and Russian elements is organic. This new genre, Russian performance with Indian choreography, turned out to be very popular in Russia. For Russian audience, became more than beautiful and exotic dance. Much performances are really they touch a chord. Sweta Tulsi is a gifted dancer specializing in Kathak. Sweta has practiced Indian classical dance ever since she was a child. She participated in many dance contests as a member of Russian dance collective called Chakkar Dance Group and won prizes for the best Kathak performances in Russia, where the choreography was by Ekaterina Salivyostova, closely associated with the JNCC. Sweta began practicing classical Indian dance at the primary school. Although Sweta's mother, Lubov Tulasi, is open about Sweta's fondness for all types of dance, she still prefers her classical dance performances. I like classical dance more than Bollywood. Only classics can reveal true professionalism, while dances from films are for the not so sophisticated public, she says. Sweta thinks it was natural for her to develop an interest in Indian classical dance form. She says, my mother is Russian, but my father is Indian, which is why, even though we live in Russia, my parents followed the Indian tradition of teaching their children classical dance. This is how I began learning Kathak as a child. As I grew older, I got interested in the history of the dance. The Indian classical dance helps me to learn more about India, but for me, it is more about mastering a special skill that a few people possess. Recently, Sweta took her skill abroad and participated in a popular Ukrainian show called Ukraine Has Talent. Sweta got in top 40 out of 800 competitors and reached the semi-finals of the contest. Sweta's success in the show was a pleasant surprise for her as well as the family. They didn't expect for her to get that far into the competition because of an alleged Ukrainian dislike of the Muscovites, and also due to the non-traditional choice of the genre. Her classical Indian dance performance was in stark contrast to the pop songs and modern dances of other contestants. Sweta names Madhuri Dixit and Sanjukta Sinha as her favorite dancers and her all-time inspirations. She is pleased with her performance but emphasizes that in dancing, if one aims very high, then sheer talent is not enough. For a good dancer, just having talent and charisma would do, but if you want an exceptional dancer, if you want to be an exceptional dancer, you have to have immense perseverance. I think we all agree to what the young Sweta says. Odissi was introduced to Russia in the late 90s by Srimati Swarnalata Parida, who founded a dance school in Moscow. She created the first generation of Odissi dancers in Russia and inspired them to explore the style further in India. One of her students, Sofia Soboleva, was taught at Guru Mayadhar Raut School, while two others, Olga Fomina and Vitalina Lobach, received scholarship at Gandharva Mahavidyalaya and learned under Guru Srimati Madhvi Mudgal for 7 and 5 years respectively. These dancers returned to Russia in the early 1990s and founded schools that attracted students from Moscow and other cities in Russia. Odissi slowly began its expansion and gradually the second generation of dancers was formed. Sofia Soboleva is a dancer and yoga instructor driven by the purely altruistic act of sharing her art. She stopped teaching dance in 2005, after which her students who wished to pursue the art seriously chose to come to India. Several ended up in Bhubaneswar to learn and practice the Guru Sri Kerucharan Mahapatra style. However, in Russia today, spread across many Russian cities are dancers who present both Guru Kelucharan and Guru Devaprasad Das styles. The standard practice is that many of them visit their gurus in India once or twice a year, undergo intensive training for about a month or longer, and return to their respective cities and continue to teach, practice, and perform. Some organize workshops and bring their gurus to Russia. Their system allows the dancers to follow their passion whilst maintaining the way of life that they are familiar with.